Had T-28, before that we had T-6 and T-28 and then T-34, which these are. We'll hear about them a little bit later. Went on to the T-38 Talon, and boy, what a big change between the piston-driven engines on those airplanes and the T-38s from Northrop.
But now, Rob, you see we're going back not to a piston-powered engine, but back to a propeller in a lot of the training aircraft here and around the country. A jet engine and turning a propeller, that particular concept has won the competition between the next generation trainer in several branches of the service. It's because it is efficient, it is economical. We're going to tell you about the aircraft taking off when they come back in for their formation presentation. They are taking off in trail, spaced apart. There's a whole lot to say about the aircraft. We're going to do that when they come back in. We're going to give center stage to our next presentation.
And it is so important. I bet you that we have a lot of boaters out here. And some of them work on small lakes, some of them get out on the Miami River or down on the Ohio River. Some may have boats that they take out into the ocean or the Great Lakes up on Lake Erie or Superior, whatever it happens to be. But there is an organization that...
On the twinkling of the 8 lights, that is showmanship. Everybody gets a piece of the sky.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you will, a nice round of applause for
civilian-owned aircraft. To be able to be this proficient in formation flight takes a tremendous amount of rehearsal. A lot of critique, a lot of filming from the ground and filming from the air, and then briefing, debriefing, and sometimes it's not pretty. The debriefing may be a little cruel, but remember, it is safety that they're worried about. So we have 2 elements of form. Now let's take you back. It's called the T-34. It is a design of Walter Beech, who wanted to have a more economical trainer than the T-6 Texan of World War II. So he took a number of his components from the Beech Bonanza and the Beech Travel Air and put them into this 2-place trainer. It was a private venture, and Walter Beech of Beechcraft Aviation, he put his company on the line with this gamble, but it paid off. Production was from 1953 to 1959. 1,900 of these pistons was that it had a nose wheel. Now, why is that such a feature? Well, when you're landing in gusting conditions or crosswind conditions, the nose wheel versus a tail wheel makes it much easier to land and control. Also, in a tail wheel, in a nose gear environment, that is, after you land, the tail is up, so you had forward visibility over the top of the engine cowling. So crosswind control, good control on the ground, good visibility forward, and also some of the older trainers, Rob, it took a lot to climb into them. They were very high off the ground.
They were.
With some of our older Warbird pilots and their wives found out, as the second element come in the diamond formation from your right, that it's easy to climb up and into a T-34 like this one. So it made a great Warbird civilian-owned aircraft.
And its handling characteristics, Danny, first time I flew in one of these, I was in the back seat. Had never been in one before. I wasn't all that new. I was a fairly new pilot. I landed it from the back seat.
Before in the air, very popular with these branches of the service, used by the U.S. Army, used by the Air Force, used by the Navy, used by the Marines, used by the Coast Guard, used by the Civil Air Patrol, and used by NASA. It was a gamble that paid off. So you see the pilots put them in squadron colors to honor the veterans that flew them before them. They researched the logbooks of these aircraft to see what squadrons they were with and what numbers and markings and colors that squadron had, and they fly in honor of the warbirds. This type of flying looks easy from the ground, but these men and women are very disciplined pilots to be able to do this and change formation. And I'll remind you that there is only one lead, and the rest of the pilots follow that leader's direction, speed, and altitude. Now, they may choose as their spot a number, a letter, or a ribbon line on a part of the airplane that they're flying off the lead. It looks like they just get in position and hold on, but there is constant minor movement. It is just a series of corrections. A little tweak of the throttle, a little bit of right aileron, a little bit of rudder.
Pilot, the right wing, the head goes there, and they keep their eyes shut, and they got their hand where the stick is, the left hand where the throttle is, and they fly that entire maneuver in the chair, eyes closed, visualizing what it's going to be like as they come across and get from close formation to spaced out so they can land.
All right, now this is called the landing brake, and it's done in sequence for several reasons. The first pilot peels off, the second pilot counts 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, or thereabouts. They peel off. Same thing for the third person. Same thing for the fourth person. Here comes the second element of 2 of the 8 aircraft. Now, what does this do? On the downwind with that spacing, everybody maintains a disciplined speed and altitude. You always keep the airplane in front of you in your sight. So with that spacing, you're going to see that with the blues as well. So we're comparing the discipline of these civilian pilots and a civilian-owned aircraft, a tribute to the men and women who flew them, Warbirds of America, Commemorative Air Force, EAA Warbirds of America, Canadian Airplane Heritage, Yankee Air Force, all keeping the aircraft in the air. So you see as they come in landing, they have space on one another. The lead pilot keeps the power in, keeps his speed up, so the second airplane can touch down, view the first airplane. Third airplane coming in over the top of the C-17 will do the same thing. Speed discipline as they round the corner. They also come in at a very tight traffic pattern, not like an airliner, but arcing in to get the most aircraft on the ground safely in the shortest time possible. So not only is the takeoff a precision maneuver with these aircraft, but also the discipline of the landing is a precision maneuver as well. And Rob, thanks for the heads up. In case you folks are counting, tell them that
2 of them air departed. They're going elsewhere, so they're from around the neighborhood. So they're going home. They're going to have a cookout and enjoy the rest of the day at home.
All right.
But 8 out, 6 coming back. But these T-34s are just special, very special airplanes in the history of aviation. And there's one that's using some aerodynamic braking there, keeping the nose wheel off the ground. As number 6 is in, we've got 6 on the ground, clearing the runway.